All right, welcome back to the channel. It is fight week. You have Terrence Bud Crawford fighting Israel Madrimov. But on the undercard, you very well may have Gervonta Davis's next opponent, Cruz, fighting Valenzuela. Coach Calvin Ford gave an interview. Shout out again to Zeb Brook Media. If you guys have the time, go by the channel, check out the interview that he did. I thought it was very, very, very interesting, very well conducted, and a lot of valuable information. He talked about Cruz versus a fight with Shakur Stevenson. But before we get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If I want to say special thank you to Barbara D and Matty O, big supporters of the channel. And also, if you guys are around a lot and we talk a lot in the comment sections and stuff, please consider responding or following me at my new YouTube, my personal YouTube channel, MH Blackwell, where we talk about things that are related to the business of boxing. And also we talk about things that are outside of the sport of boxing. They kind of overlap a little bit. We got that on a different channel. But again, subscribe to it if you're somebody where you and I get along and we like each other, because there's some non-boxing topics there. And I want to be able to chop it up with you. And this channel is getting kind of big, so it's tough to be in the comment sections as much as I would like to be. But over there, I can be in the comment section much more. Anyway, but let's get into this. And thank you guys so much for all your support. The big fight card this weekend with Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov is a fight I'm looking forward to. But the undercard in that fight is really the good fights. The best fight on that card, in my opinion, is Cruz. It's probably Cruz versus Valenzuela. Cruz is a guy that had fought Gervonta Davis before and is the last guy, or the first guy in a very long time, I think since Gervonta Davis was fighting 8-rounders, that went the distance with Gervonta Davis. The reason why he went the distance with him could have been because of a hurt hand or whatever, but it kind of catapulted Cruz into a level of stardom. And it sounds like after this fight with Valenzuela, that Gervonta Davis's team, at least, and that is his trainer, head trainer Calvin Ford, may very well be looking at Cruz as the next guy to fight. Because as you guys know, if you didn't know, let me tell you, Vasily Lomachenko, who was the next opponent for Gervonta Davis, dropped out of the negotiations and said he wouldn't be available to fight this year. Calvin Ford gave information, his opinion about why Lomachenko didn't want to take the fight. And I think he said, hey, man, he's like, he didn't want to play the B-side to Gervonta Davis because he's never been the B-side before. And, you know, he wasn't going to get as big a cut as he thought he was going to get. At least that's the impression that I got from what I heard from Calvin Ford. Cruz, though. Cruz is now in position to get the next fight with Gervonta Davis. Many people, including myself, want to see Gervonta Davis fight Shakur. But in the discussions that Calvin Ford brought up about the money related to the fight, the more surefire paycheck, the more surefire exciting event, the more surefire situation is probably at the moment with Cruz. They have a past, and as Calvin Ford has explained, and I've explained many times myself, even before I met Calvin Ford, they have distinct fan bases. You have the WBA 140-pound champ Cruz, who has a very growing Mexican fan base, and basically does not, that I've never heard him actually even speak English. So he has that fan base where in boxing over time, and especially in the small weight classes, peanut butter and chocolate makes Reese's peanut butter cup. It works really well together. That type of scenario is going to drive a lot of revenue. If Gervonta Davis can fight Frank Martin and do 400,000 pay-per-views and do a $12 million gate at Las Vegas, right, which brings the fight around somewhere like generating $50 or $60 million in revenue for the fight, you better believe, dude, they're going to try to redo that, and they're going to outdo that with Cruz, because Cruz is a bigger name than Frank Martin is. And shout out to Frank Martin. Wish him nothing but the best. Like him a lot as a fighter. Don't know him personally, but love him as a fighter. But that demographic and Gervonta Davis, that's going to come together. That may do 600,000, 650,000 pay-per-views. I mean, Cruz, that's how big that fight is. So I wouldn't be surprised that if they say, yeah, number one, it's a fight. It's a PBC and PBC fight. They've already fought before, so there's plenty of background information on it. And they're going to make that money in that fight. And then after that, they'll probably move on to the next guy. And maybe that next guy can be Shakur Stevenson. But I think that that's what's going to happen. But of course, Gervonta Davis or Cruz has to beat Rayo Valenzuela, who's not the easiest task in the world, man. I got Cruz winning the fight, but Rayo Valenzuela looked like he has improved since the loss that he suffered against Chris Colbert the first time, when Chris Colbert decisioned him, but then Rayo Valenzuela came back and stopped Chris Colbert. Of course, Rayo did not run it back with Rayo didn't run it back with the guy that knocked him out, who was Edwin de los Santos. So there's still that little bit of thing about his chin out there, something that Chris Colbert was never going to be in the position to really test. But Cruz is. But I still am not going to underestimate Rayo Valenzuela going into that fight and dismiss his chances in that fight to actually beat Cruz. But I have a suspicion that after that fight, we very well may see Cruz move back down to 135 pounds to fight Gervonta Davis. You may see Gervonta Davis move up to 140 pounds and try to snatch Cruz's belt. Don't know. Cruz could actually move down and they could put both on the line, just like when Gervonta Davis fought Leo Santa Cruz, and you had both the WBA 130-pound title on the line, and you had the WBA 135-pound title on the line. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see these guys in the ring. Terrence Crawford versus Madrimov. I mean, I think that's a fight that's going to be for Terrence Crawford, but it seems as if Terrence Crawford knows Israel Madrimov and is going to be prepared for him. So I think I got him in that win, with that win and becoming the WBA champion at 140. There's also some other really good fights on that card, or at least interesting fights on that card, where guys like Jared Anderson being on the card, Jared Big Baby Miller fighting Andy Ruiz on that card. I just think that whole card could be some very, very interesting fights leading into and including the main event. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.